Good evening. My name's Tom Mariome. I'm chairman of the Public Works Committee, and with that, I'll call the meeting of the Public Works Committee to order a little after 6, about 6:09, on Tuesday, December 3rd, 2013, when the first floor conference room at City Hall. And with that, I'd just like to go around the room and have people introduce themselves.
Marion Holcamp City.
Dave Laspa, city engineer. Joe Eichstead, design engineer.
Ahmed Musallam, president of Rapids Area Soccer.
David Nombra, Wisconsin Rapids City Times. Steve Levine, SK Construction.
Scott Kellogg, alderperson.
Nathaniel Streeter for the Daily Tribune.
Thank you all. And with that, then we'll go on to item 2, and that's a request of Ahmad Musallam, 7620 Warren Drive, representing Rapids Area Soccer Incorporated, to waive both the $250 erosion control permit fee and the $50 excavating fee for the new soccer fields by Washington School that they are developing.
Good evening. As many of you know, that RASI is 100% volunteer-based organization. It's 100%. I'm here as a volunteer. We're expanding those soccer fields here to invest in our youth and for the community. That's why we are doing it. And Rapids Area Soccer, we have a great working relationship with the city of Wisconsin Rapids since the 70s. I mean, that's been great. As an example, when we did the lighting project in the mid-90s, we were able to use some of the hotel motel tags, and that really helped the project being installed at that time. And that really was an excellent working relationship. And right now, we are still in the midst of fundraising, for that project. Rapids Area Soccer, we don't owe any money, we don't get any loans. We do fundraising, we get the job done as we get the funds. And during that process, I decided to ask the Visitor and Convention Bureau to do some impact study about our annual tournament, just only 1 hour tournament. And based on very conservative numbers, the tournament generated $10 to $11 million for the community. And that's really what I use sometimes, putting part of the package to help some of the money. And so to me that's really good for our community. So really what I am asking here is to have the city of Wisconsin Rapids to continue and invest in our youth and support our project. Thank you.
Dave, Joe?
So part of the request then is to waive the permit fees. And the work's already been done. Ahmed's been working with the city to get the permits taken out, and also with the DNR. And so there's a photo attached showing where the fields are located. And I guess that's about it, I guess.
All the things that the soccer committee or group does for the children, I see no problem in my mind. I mean, to me, you give more than we could ever really offset. So I think it's wonderful the things you do. So I don't know. I'd make a motion to accept the proposal to waive those fees.
I'll second that motion.
Motion is second to waive the fees. Any other comments or anything by anybody?
Well, this has started with such a little group years and years ago, and we each get a little bit of the hotel motel tax money. We get maybe a couple $100 to start with, and look, wonders what they've done with all that.
Right.
That it's a beautiful complex out there.
Yeah.
And I've watched many soccer games out there, so I know what they're doing out there. They're very good.
Just a question or two, I guess, for myself. In our minutes or notes that we got, from staff is that the work commenced before, I guess, permits were taken out, is that?
Yeah, that's correct. We notified the school district first, because that's the, property owner. And that was maybe about 2 months ago. And I think you were actually out of the city for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking of my 96-year-old dad.
The school super, who's the
Oh,
building
I-
grounds guy?
It's Ed Allison.
Ed Allison. I had spoken with him, and then he got in touch with Anna. And so it took a little bit of time to get things moving, but they are continuing to work with the city and the DNR to, get the permits taken out and get things back in shape out there for erosion control especially.
The reason really for that is it's not like we don't want no permits, just people didn't know about it, or some people knew but didn't tell us. As soon as we found out,
Yeah.
we actually worked. And Joe knows that we will right away. We work to alleviate the problem and do it right away, and do whatever it takes. Actually,
Is there, and I guess another thing just going through my mind now, the rest of the field is fenced in. The rest of that field, I guess why maybe it comes to mind is, and I guess more of a question to staff is, there's not sidewalks on that block at all. Is there any consideration, should that be end of the field, which is being developed, should that be fenced in? Would that contribute or help, I guess, in preventing any accidents from people going out into the street or something like that? The reason, I guess, initially was in my mind went through my mind the sidewalks. But just sitting here thinking now is that the rest of the field is fenced in.
you want me to make comment on that? I think there is sidewalks. Let me just say there is sidewalks there, but what we are here is we know what we have to do ourselves, and part of our plan is to have fence and slats and then try to make it nice because that's good for the community. But actually, we're not here to ask for should we get the permit to do the project or not. I appreciate that. This is just expanding on what's needed there. But just to make you at ease, if you can give me more money, I'm in the middle of fundraising. If you can give me and build me to help building the fence, I accept that because I'm in the middle of fundraising right now. But the plan is really to put the fence. We need to make it nice and the slats all the way around because we need to contain and protect those fields because many years ago, many people made donuts on those soccer fields. This is why you put the fence. So that's the plan.
And not to further burden your group by bringing up the issue of fencing or sidewalks or whatever, just something that went through my mind, a safety aspect of it, is that something that should maybe, and maybe not our group, but that shouldn't be considered, I hate to use the word control, but it's the people that are there viewing the tournaments that are going to be taking place and the games that are going to take place. The fence somewhat funnels people into a certain area where they can come and go. Without that, to me, it raises a concern that it's wide open of, even the games that,
we need to fence it because when the high school, they had their games, they locked the gates and get people from different, so part of the project, we need to fence it, period.
It seems to me that's your issue and the school board's issue. You're here for this and that, I know whatever happens, you do for the safety of the kids and so will the school board. So I think that's eventually.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
The only, by bringing that, really, I like to see what else the city could help us on that project besides.
Mhm.
Because that would be great, maybe you could, have other means to, you get the equipment where really minimize the cost. For example, I go around and find out, I got Jim Murtison, thanks to him, I need to meet the guy. He came and he did all the routing at no charge. They had to spend a week
Yeah.
of heavy equipment.
Yeah.
I just, called him, I didn't even meet him yet. And he said, that's for the kids, I'll do it. And all the roads that were taken out, so we don't have, what's coming up, that was done at no charge. And that's really where also, it's not the time to ask for other service, but to keep in mind what else the city could work with us, because it's really for our kids.
Yeah.
To minimize the cost for the Rapids area soccer, because it's with the sprinkler system, it's gonna cost.
Mhm.
Mid-state fields, they cost us $85,000. The concession building there for us, that's 200 with the parking lot, 225. Because Aaron was a project, the lighting project was 76,000. That money stays here with the community.
Okay. I've had mine. Anybody else have anything else?
Just a comment
Okay,
about
Joe?
the sidewalk. I think that sidewalk around, the Washington School area would benefit it, especially with, the number of people that, kids and pedestrian people that, park along 32nd Street and wherever else they're gonna be parking up on North Street. Keep them out of the street, and, on the sidewalk, I think it would benefit, be more safe, I guess.
But along that, on 32nd Street, there's far enough room from the fence to the curb to walk.
There is.
Yeah, so,
Just, like with strollers and,
yeah,
if
yeah.
they're bringing wagons
Yeah.
and different things,
But for now, it's just a start. We can always add on as we go, make,
Yep.
All right, if there's nothing else, committee will vote on the motion. That's to approve the waiving of the fees. Committee will vote. All those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your help.
Keep up the good
Have a
work.
nice evening. Thank you.
Item 3 is a request from Steve Clavine to vacate Clavine Avenue between 14th Place South and 15th Place South. Steve,
Yes.
you want to come up to the table here?
Yeah, the reason I want to vacate it is because I want to change the through road to a cul-de-sac. The cul-de-sac will come in from 15th Place. It'll make.
Dave?
Oh, the reason for the vacation, it's just easier for everybody involved if the existing street is vacated, and then Steve, when he does his final plat of the 5th edition, he'll rededicate the street in the cul-de-sac. And we don't have any problems with utilities. One fire hydrant has to be relocated. But it went through planning commission already, so.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with it.
No, I don't either.
Steve, do you have anything to add or anything, or?
Well, it just makes for better lots.
Yeah,
So,
Mhm.
rather than through the street, I'd rather be on the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to accept the vacation.
I'll second that. We have motion second to approve the vacation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All those in favor respond by aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. And council meets in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Number 4, and that's a request from Dave Ramsden of Ramsden Construction to change the maximum driveway widths allowed for duplexes from 36 to 40 feet. Dave?
Okay, what I handed out was just chapter 11 on driveway openings. Right now, we have 30-foot for residential uses and 36 for duplex, multifamily, commercial uses. If this is only kept to duplexes, I don't have a problem with it because duplexes are always in a residential area and we're only talking about 4 more feet. It's always a problem when they put both garages on one side of a duplex.
Mhm.
The ordinance says they have to be separated by 12 feet or they can only be 36 feet, so 4 more feet. If that alleviates their problems with building duplexes, I guess I don't have a problem. Just adding in the ordinance, it'd be 40 foot for duplexes and 36 for the others.
Yeah, I'm pleased to have it, because rather than having them come and ask us for the duplex, if we put it in, then it's just a matter, I guess I want to say done deal, because it's 40 feet. And I understand what you're saying about other than duplexes, to keep it 36.
Mhm.
Right, if you get 40 with commercial or a multifamily, you get cars all different ways
Yeah.
when it gets too wide, the driveway.
Yeah.
And becomes a safety concern, but a duplex, you're only dealing with 4 cars at the most.
Right.
And probably never at the same time.
I'll make a motion that, for duplexes that we can move from 36 feet to 40 feet.
I'd second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve going from 36 to 40 feet for driveway widths for duplexes. Just a question from myself, I guess, here, is what is there, Dave, for a duplex that's, not on the same street, say on a corner, that'd be.
Oh, I see what you mean, if you have.
One would be on the driveway on one side and garage,
I guess the way, unless we put something in the ordinance, yeah, they'd be able to have a 40-footer on either side if they wanted to. Just, you would have to write in the ordinance then that if both driveways are on the same street,
I would probably feel more comfortable
Okay.
with that, because I guess what went through my mind is
Okay.
if, where we're just talking duplexes, 2 families.
Mhm.
But yet if the garage was on, each street,
okay,
you
yeah,
could
then,
have, you could have
right. you
40
could
feet
have-
of driveway on each side.
Right,
But then you have to figure too that we have a duplex that's divided by the garage because they couldn't put the apartment next to
yeah, I'd have to have the driveways adjacent.
adjacent, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
with okay, but the
I
driveways.
thought it was gonna be simple.
Duplexes with the driveway adjacent.
We've gone over this over the years, different times on driveway widths and that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and duplexes are always
Duplexes,
seem to be one that comes back to committee for variances, or they make it too wide.
That's why if it's done now and then when they get a permit, they clearly understand. Then if it's too wide or whatever, then tear it out.
So it would
can
be
you-
with driveways adjacent, with the driveways adjacent on the same street. Is that? Or both garage doors?
I guess I'm just,
Yeah, okay, the
Adjacent
driveways
driveways,
adjacent, with adjacent driveways,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
okay, anybody else? Yeah, hearing none, committee will vote, all those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed by zero. Item number 5. Request from our Alderperson Kellogg to thatch the alley between Mead Street, 3rd Street South, Elm Street, and Sherman Street, and remove the tree adjacent to the alley to maintain the alley until it can be reconstructed.
I
Okay, Scott.
brought that in
Yeah.
because This is in the 3rd district, and the residents brought it to my attention. Because there's a huge tree that I would say a quarter of the tree, 20% of the tree is in the alley itself. And as a result, garbage trucks have a hard time coming down the alley and getting around that tree. So that's an issue for the city in the sense that it might damage our truck. And second of all, plowing in the winter, that tree just causes a problem. The resident of that lot and the area would like that tree removed, so it's not gonna be an issue, they don't mind that tree being removed. And then my concern is there are some potholes because that's an old road or alley. And in the budget, it's stated that this probably wouldn't be refurbished, I'm gonna use it, for a couple of years maybe. So, for sure, not next year. So it seems to me, if the tree would have to be removed in 2 years, or it would have to anyway. So why not remove it as soon as we can when it's feasible? And then plows can get through, garbage trucks can get through, and patch whatever reasonably the patches in that alley. So then in 2 years, the tree's gone and whatever has to be done can be done. But it would just take care of a nuisance that this neighborhood has. And that was my concern because it's gonna have to go sometime. That's all.
Well, and just the scenarios with trees, so everybody, if it's a non-construction project and it's half city, half property owner, in fact, I had one tree where I paid part to remove, well, it wasn't a construction project, it was a dead tree kind of on the lot line. City would figure out how much, and the city pay the other, but in this case, it's a construction project, and in construction projects, we can't reconstruct the alley with the tree there. So what we get is a temporary limited easement from the property owner in exchange for removing the tree. It's a mutual benefit, basically. So if we can get committee passes this and we can get a temporary limited easement from the property owner, then we would remove the tree and then it's gone when we reconstruct it in 2015 or later.
And she should be pleased with that because I've talked to her, and talked to the neighborhood group there, and so it should be a goal. I don't know why it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's just the temporary limited easements protects the city.
Yeah.
Because when we take the tree out, we're gonna be taking more than probably a little bit of their driveway too, so we'll have to spell it out exactly what the city's responsible for.
And so they understand.
Right,
On their-
right. Before we start taking
on
anything
their
on,
end,
we
yeah.
always try to
Yeah.
make sure they understand what.
Yep.
And I talked to Jim Borski, he estimates about $2,500, probably $1,500 to remove the tree and $1,000 to go through and patch the potholes.
Sounds like a good deal. I'll make a motion that the city will remove the tree and then kind of repair the alley.
I'll second that. And for you guys to go through with getting the easement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to get it to you.
Any further discussion by anybody? Hearing none, committee will vote. All those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, ayes have it. And with that, we'll go to item number 6, and that's to review the proposed 2014 public works project.
Dave and Joe, and
All the projects that are listed here are ones that we reviewed last month through the budget review process. And the first two projects that we've done here, of course, First Street's going to be done right away, first thing in the spring. Clavina Avenue is something that if we can get it put together, if everything comes together for the design, we'd like to probably try to do that one first too, just because it's sand country over there, and it should be
Yeah.
easier, and a little bit drier for us in the spring. The bulk of the construction season is going to be 17th Avenue North. That's going to be, well, for our crews, it's going to be just over 2 months. We anticipate 10th Street. We've got a little bit of a break in there to do chip sealing. It does get into the school season a little bit, but looking at 17th Avenue and 10th Street, trying to do both those projects, if we would do 10th Street first, that would be on the other end of the school year. So we'll make the best of it, I guess. Oak Street and 4th Street, they'll be tentatively at the end of the construction season. We've also got a bunch of other projects, like the parking lots and the safe routes to school sidewalks that we're gonna try to do with a second crew. So we can keep the mainline ditch crew going and get a second crew out there to work on some of these other projects.
I'll give you a quick update on safe routes to schools.
I highlighted it, just.
Because we have, I mentioned before, because we have state and federal funding, we have to make sure we do all the regulations. Right now, we've had in for a couple of months the proposed environmental document. We passed the section 106, which is the historical part, which we had to pay a consultant to review that. So we turned in the 30% plans and it's a PER environmental document. And now the consultant for the state, Cedar Corporation, is reviewing it with the Department of Transportation. Because of their questioning, because of we don't have all the right-of-way, how much right-of-way we gotta get, that's what they're concerned about. So once we get past that and the environmental document gets approved, then we'll start meeting with the neighbors and showing them what we need for right-of-way and moving on from there. And then we're hoping it's a long process, because once I get all that done, we have to have 60% plans done, 90% plans done. Then we have to provide them all our bidding documents and wait for them to approve it, and then we can put it into the bidding process. So and we might be optimistic here, working in July, but we'll keep going at it.
How is that not on that specific item there, but the Jackson Street Bridge going up north there, how, and maybe I totally forgot that, or whatever, as far as, that half of the one lane isn't patched, how is that gonna work out with snow removal and that?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean there?
Right, yeah, they put barrels there, and we're gonna try it. We've got enough room with snow to get through the winter. There is gravel. If it becomes a problem, we can move the barrels over and store the snow where the gravel is.
And the reason for that was the contractor was originally talking about doing the whole project this fall. And so he didn't want any complications working with the utility companies or the city, while that water main work was being done. So at that time, we opted to go ahead and do the work and get it done so that we wouldn't, especially then, we wouldn't be struggling to get in first thing in the spring and try to do
When the
it.
ground is frozen, trying to water main.
So we went in there and got it done and we've been trying to maintain it for the
And
winter.
my concern driving by there just about every day is, you know, kind of what we have for snowfall in
Yeah.
the wintertime is, and barrels are there, but I mean, there is the one lane as you'd be going, you know, up along the river there, or, but, you know, it's not, it's one lane, you know, it's not like it was there. So that's just, I guess, a concern of mine, and I've just, I guess, kept forgetting to bring it up to ask about it even.
We can review with the street guys to see what, when now that snow's coming, they're gonna wanna be pushing snow, they're gonna have to pull the barrels back probably.
And I guess that's it, you know, the barrels are there, but are they gonna have to be moved, I guess, to, or? they
I
may be
would
moved.
guess,
The
yeah.
plows may move it with the snow.
Yeah,
pushing
the
it.
plow- we don't move 'em, yeah, you're right,
Right.
the plows will move 'em.
Yeah,
So, it's just been when I drive by there and think about it, and I wouldn't think about it to bring it up here, except looking at this evening, I thought just ask the questions.
What's the status of 54 going to Nakusa or Port Edwards? When does that construction take place? You know,
He's talking about the repainting, the relining.
Okay,
Up 10th Avenue there.
Yeah.
the roundabout project, yeah, that,
you know that where it's at 25, you want to raise it to,
right, we had an agreement with the DOT and then I guess they had to do some additional verifications to justify their funding. So we're kind of on hold until they restudy it more. So nothing's going to really happen this year. They're thinking if everything gets approved and they justify their funding, that we'll be looking at stuff in 2015.
just that some residents may call or people may, then we can put it, tell them 2015 rather than
Right.
2014, so.
Right, and we were optimistic, I guess, at 2014. We thought we had everything go, and then they realized that some of their people said, hey, you didn't check, I can't think of the term, they have a process they go through.
Federal process, right?
Yeah, that they have to justify any funding, so they have to do further studying. And hopefully everything comes through and we'll keep going with the project that we planned now.
All right, any other questions by anybody?
had some comments. First Street North is so nice compared to what it used to be. It's not so rough in that, going up to, north there, it's really a nice road.
It is.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna have decorative lights, similar to what we have on West Grand. We'll have the, bike trail along the river wall. So it's about half done, so hopefully it'll look a lot better than it is now when they get it completed.
but it's got a good start.
Yeah, looks great.
Okay, if nothing else, we can go with the referral list. Three of them maybe. And we can take off, I think, here. 2013, 9B. That's the driveway width for duplexes.
Mhm.
2013 of 14, and that was Steve's vacation request there. And 2013, and number 15, and that's the waiving of the fees at the soccer field. So those three can be taken off. And that's it, I think, of our list. And if there's.
What?
Oops.
What would his street lighting policy be? What kind of policy does he?
I think what he's looking for is how we're gonna, right now our policy for residential streets is one light per block. or 300 feet. I think he wants to expand that into what exactly we're gonna do for a commercial area, arterial street. So that, we're working on it, but what most lighting people base that on is the candle power on the street and the uniformity between the lights. So it'd be a complex policy between, well, even, we don't have the capability, neither does Water and Light. We always depend on our suppliers to do these lighting diagrams and tell us what the candle power, so I'll have to work with Water and Light to put together a policy, because it varies too. We're moving from high pressure sodium to LEDs, so that lighting is gonna be different, so to do a good policy, it's gonna take a while, and it'll need some study.
Yeah, there's so many variables to consider.
Right,
you know,
different kind of pavements too.
Yeah.
Asphalt is different from concrete, the way it reflects light.
Or sidewalks or.
Yeah, no sidewalk, right?
Yeah, in the residential area now.
Yeah.
You can't be monkeying around with more streetlights or something just because they're not close enough together, you know?
Right.
Yeah. It would just,
Well, when you guys get your information and with Water and Light, whatever, I guess
Yeah.
it'll come back to the committee that you'd like.
Yeah, I haven't
talk about.
contacted, I gotta contact Water and Light to start working on this. I haven't contacted them yet on that request.
This was generated though, wasn't it, if my memory's right? from-
Right, for that request on 9th Avenue on
Yeah.
the west side,
Yeah.
9th
Yeah,
and
up in
Rosecrans.
Last spring or whenever that was, early summer.
So do we have before it gets on our agenda, do we have like a potential policy and then we share it? And then maybe the next month it goes on to our agenda, then it goes on to all the city, common council's agenda? Or you create it and then we discuss it here, and if approved or not approved, it still goes on to common council, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just that, do we see a draft so we can maybe?
Oh, yeah, you'll get a draft.
Before it goes on to this?
Right.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we can provide you a
because
draft.
this is gonna be complex.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right, and get a draft before we meet as a committee.
Right,
And,
Yeah.
so we have a
input.
chance to look it over before we
Right.
meet, and then
Right.
How it affects our area.
generates questions.
In
from what we
each
get.
area, it's gonna have
Yeah.
a major
Oh, yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds simple, but it's much more complex than.
Right,
Right, and a lot of people don't like, well, some people like lights, but other people don't like it because it's shining, and then you have to have cutoff fixtures. And actually, out west, there's a big controversy with light pollution. We don't have that so much around here, but in the western states where they like to look at the stars, I guess, I've gone to lighting classes, and that's a big controversy, is light pollution. You know, you can see that glow over cities.
yeah.
A lot of people out west don't like that.
And the sheer cost.
Yeah.
Of lighting.
So that'll be interesting.
All right, and if there's nothing else, committee, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second to adjourn, all those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, we're adjourned at 6:47.